Welcome, friends. My name is Silas Ollegario, and I'm the host of Think Onward, a podcast about books, studies, productivity, and lifestyle now, after the intro. Hello, God's people. Welcome to another episode of Think Onward. Yet another week, here we are, and thank you for your company. Thank you for listening to us every week. This week's episode is very nice. I'm going to be talking to Arthur Seidler, a good friend of mine, 10 years younger than me. I actually had the opportunity of studying English with him years ago. And great guy, loves books, loves fantasy books. And basically, that's what we're going to be talking on today's episode. So please enjoy. Dude, let's start from the top, okay? We've been talking for a while, but let's record this. Can you introduce yourself for the people who are listening to us?
My name is Arthur. I don't think that has been said, but yeah, I'm Arthur Seidler. Now, today I'm studying in a dentistry school at the university. Yeah. I'm okay. Actually, 2021 it's been better than 2020.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
not that hard
for everybody.
to be, but yeah.
For everybody, right?
Yeah. So, and yeah, I'm as nerdy as it can be. I think that's a good point to bring out. So,
okay,
yeah.
let me stop it right there. Why do you say that? Why are you as nerdy as it can be? Why do you say that?
Because if you take the stereotypical nerd, I actually apply to most of these stereotypes.
For example?
Yeah, I like to study. I love reading. I play video games. I like technology stuff, like techie stuff. Mm-hmm. I play RPG, tabletop RPG.
Okay.
So, yeah. Like, the whole pack.
But you do one thing that most nerds don't do, which is CrossFit.
Yeah, I do CrossFit.
See?
5 times a week.
Oh my goodness, 5 times a week.
Yeah.
That's just no, dude. How did you got into this CrossFit? Before we go to the subject that we both enjoy, which is reading and studying and whatever, let's start with this thing of CrossFit. How do you start with that?
Okay, so actually, first thing, no, it's not a cult. And no, I have never been injured because of CrossFit. So
okay.
I had to put those things out before everything. So
it's not a cult,
but,
it's great.
Yeah, so I got into CrossFit because my uncle, Felipe, he does CrossFit for about, 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, come on, join me just like one time so you can see what it's all about." And at the time I was working out in the gym by 5 to 6 times a week. And so I was like, okay, I'll take one day off and go to the CrossFit. And I was absolutely smashed by everybody there because because the types of workouts are really, really, really different. So,
yeah, and all of them are very intense, right?
Yeah, there's no rest time. There's it's absolutely insane for those that see from outside, for sure. Yeah, so I actually got there, and I always loved to move weight. So in the gym, to heavy barbells and heavy dumbbells.
See, that's
so in CrossFit,
very good, very good.
Yes. So in CrossFit, where you do the Olympic lifting, I actually found myself wanting to go because of the Olympic lifting. The cardio, the conditioning part, I'm not a big fan, but yeah, I just endure by it so I can do the Olympic lifting.
Very good.
Yeah.
And just got into it, and now 5 times a week you're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty nice, dude. And how do you handle this? I mean, dentistry school is kind of heavy. Even if it's not this semester,
Yeah.
it normally is, right? So how do you deal with this?
Yeah, usually my semesters, like my light semesters, where I actually have time, I have 26 credits, so 26 hours a week of class.
So 1 credit it's equal to 1 hour.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, I
exactly.
didn't know that.
Yeah, for in university, the way that they say how much time you have to spend in that class is the credit. So each hour that you work, you study, you see the classes, you gain 1 credit. If you do this like every week. So yeah, usually I do 26 credits, which is, it's okay, not that heavy, not for me, but this semester I had to go 32 credits actually, and I am doing only 12, maybe 10. It depends.
Okay,
So-
but let me stop right there again. The reason
Yeah.
you're doing 10 and 12 instead of 30 is because of COVID, because it's online, because of what?
Yeah, my university decided to not bring back all the students right now. And I think that's a wise decision on their part.
Yeah.
But for me, that because I have a lot of lab stuff and I love a lot of going to the actual hospital and working with patients. I can do this. So most of my credits were supposed to be done inside the hospital or in some lab, which are all, I can do this like at work at my house. I have to go to the lab or I have to go to the hospital. So because most of the credits that I have to do, they have to be in person. They just didn't offer me to take those classes. I have to wait until they allow me to actually go to the university.
So you're kind of having a semester off, right?
Yeah.
And for those of you who are listening who are not in Brazil eventually, in Brazil, universities, they count the semester. They don't count the terms. So which semester are you studying right now?
I was supposed to be on the 7th, but I'm in the 6th. So, yeah.
And usually is what, 12, 10?
10.
Until you graduate?
10?
10?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
8 semesters of theoretics and...
And which semester you start doing this and having patients and going to the university, hospital, and etc.?
Yeah, it depends if you're going to a private university or a public university. Because I'm in a public university, I have patients in the 2nd semester, actually.
Oh my God, what do you do?
Yeah, just...
'Cause what do you know about dentistry in second semester?
Absolutely nothing. Like,
great.
for real. But we do... we take... usually just clean up. So you teach them how to brush their teeth and you don't do any you can't do any procedures. You can only do the basic maintenance of the health. So yeah, but yeah,
Very
second
nice.
semester. But
So
if
it's-
you're in a private school, then it is in the 6th or 7th.
Really? So is that long, the difference? So 2 years different.
Yeah.
And in your experience right now, because now I know your dad is also a dentist,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and he also studied the same university you're studying, right?
Yeah, about 25 years ago. So yeah.
Just
With the
25 year
same
gap.
teachers. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, really? The same
Yeah.
teachers?
I have 2 or 3 teachers that actually taught him. So yeah.
Oh my God! And they remember her dad?
One of them, yes, because my dad did his. I don't know how to call it. And when you do after you graduate, you could do a.
Residency.
Yeah, I don't think the dentistry has like a residency, but yeah, kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
With one of them, so he
Oh,
remembers
nice.
him from that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, but and how is that now in your experience? How is that helpful? uh, going into the patient care very early in your university studies. Is that better? Do you think now that you went through, is that okay? Makes no difference? How is that? How do you feel about that?
Yeah. What I usually say about it is that it makes you ready to face the problems that will rise no matter what. So when you go to a private university, um, you already know a lot. So and you work with the best equipment and the best. So when you go to sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yes, I'm sorry, but I'm asking my wife to close the door.
Sure.
Babe. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Good to know.
if you go to a private school, you actually have the best equipment and you have time to prepare before you got your first patient. So I think that in real life, like when you have to see the problems that your patient, not the patient that your teacher chose to, but like the patient that appeared in your clinic, if you start to worry about what are you doing like really early when you're in a public school. So I think it's good. Actually, I think it's really good because we start developing our skills from like your hand skills and your patient skills and your social skills really early. So that's good for after when you work in your own clinic or for someone.
But that actually brings me to another question. Again, you're in the last part of university. We can say like that securely now. How do you feel? I mean, being that far on your studies already, do you think it's necessary to study for 5 years? I mean, don't you think that if this same university could have you there for like 3 or 4, only to be able to, because you're a full-time student anyway, and with 30 credits or 32 credits, now that you are almost through, don't you see like lots of those credits were unnecessary for your profession?
Yeah, I don't think the 5 years are a short period of time to become a dentist, but I think that they should rearrange what you have to learn inside the university, because again, because I'm in a public university, they really like to teach us how to work in a public environment. So the social behind it. So it's not only about the dentistry.
Yeah.
You have to So if we could have more time working in actual cases and actually seeing patients and solving their problems, I think it would be best. It would be the best. 5 years doing that, you're good to go. But now I spend like maybe 1/3 of the time studying how health works in Brazil, the if you should or not work inside the public sphere, or if you go to your private. So yeah, I think we lose a lot of time doing that. So it's important, but yeah.
And now that you're almost through, have you decided? I mean, your parents must be thrilled that you went to dentistry school, and especially your dad, because because I know your family. I know there was never pressure on you to decide this profession or another one, which is great. But it's impossible not to feel happy, because that shows that he did such a great job as a professional, and you saw his life and everything else, and now you want to pursue the same career. And how is that going on? Are you going into private practice like your dad did?
Yeah, most likely I'm going to private practice, but I'll probably do some things a little different, because I do like I'm a nerd, so I do like the techie stuff. I want to do the digital dentistry. So it's a different kind of dentistry that you have to put a lot of investment in time and money to do it. So, but it's the final goal is to obtain that. And that is not the goal of my dad, like for today, for now, for his career. So, but I do want to go to private practice because, yeah, the public practice is rough.
Yeah, to say the least, right? And
Yeah.
but are you thinking about? I don't know if you already are, but are you thinking about working together, both of you? And do you think it's possible to arrange the way you intend to work and the way he already does?
100%.
Really?
100%. Because in dentistry, we have a lot of fields that you can work with. And the fields that I want to work with are not the same that my dad works now. So the patients that he had, that he cannot give the treatment that they need, they are going to me. And we can talk about the whole treatment to do the best for the patient. So I think it's 100% possible.
Oh, that's great. That's simply amazing. And but let me go back a little bit now in our story, because in the beginning of our conversation, you were talking about this studying, having less credits than you're usually supposed to have, and that you're not going in person just for those to take care of patients or whatever. How is that? How was 2020 to you? I know it's already 2021, but
Yeah.
it's just February. So how is that? How was it for you? And I mean, was that too different from 2021 already?
Yeah, for me it was really different because because my dad had a problem in his clinic. One of the people that worked with him had to take a maternity license, so he couldn't. He was missing one person in the team, so I actually covered her for 4 or 5 months. So
What's her name? I think I know her. What's her name?
Daniela.
Daniela. Yeah, I think I remember her.
Yeah.
Because for those who are listening, Dr. Seidler is also my dentist.
Yeah.
Yeah, but continue.
Yeah, but so I was working a full-time job, like 8 hours a day, and doing my credits in university. So, and COVID, and yeah, so it was rough, to say the least. But now in 2021, I was looking for more things to do that are related to dentistry, to the profession that I'm going to follow from now on. So I'm doing courses outside of university. I was talking with a lab of prosthetic lab, so I could work there for free just for the experience.
Very nice.
So to use the time that I have now to get better at the things I actually do when I graduate.
And you think that in 2020, due to everything that happened, do you think that did anything change your perspective about your profession and change the way you saw things that maybe weren't impossible, that you saw they became possible, or the opposite? I think that you thought it was, oh no, that's very easy, and now you notice they are not. Did anything change in your mind when you look at your profession?
I think that some things changed. Like we can have like one patient an hour now because we have to sanitize the whole clinic. So we had to reschedule our time to do the procedures and to actually take care of the patient. So yeah, I think that changed, and that is going to be changed forever from now on, and have to live with that. And I think that the dentists that actually the patients trust them, like for real, like they went better during the pandemic because I would say in my dad's case, right? So the patients trust him that he was doing all that he could to be safe. So he didn't lost any patients because of the pandemic. In fact, he gained some patients. So yeah, because people knew him that he was going to do everything that he could so they were safe, both of them, all the time. So I think that changed too. The dentists they had uh, dentists who the patients really trust gain a lot during the time. So
And after Daniela's maternity leave ended, or I don't know if it's ended already, but are you still working with your dad?
no, I was fired. Yeah.
You got fired.
Yeah.
Wow. That's it? Son, I don't
Yeah.
need you anymore. Daniela's back.
No,
Thank
I
you
was
so much
doing
for your
that
service.
because he needs someone. Like
Okay.
I didn't want you actually spend more time than because I want her to have the job because
Of course.
yeah,
Yes.
not me. I don't actually need the job. So
Yeah. And what about volunteer work? I mean, you were saying about the place you were volunteer.
yeah, I actually volunteer in the church. I work in the filming crew and live broadcast.
Oh, yeah, great. Mhm.
So yeah, so nerdy stuff. Yeah,
Of course, nerdy
yeah.
stuff.
It couldn't be different.
Just a
so-
parenthesis. Just a parenthesis. It's kind of weird this, right? Because anything can be nerdy if you think about.
Yeah,
Just the fact that you go deeper into understanding and into analytics, you
Yeah.
can say that's nerdy. Even in sports. Look, I have a
Yeah.
friend. He has a memory that is just unbelievable. He remembers statistics of games and players, and oh man, you should work with this. Like he just remembers. And it's
Yeah.
funny. He doesn't read anything. Probably never read a book his entire life. I'm not gonna say his
Yeah.
name. He already knows who he is. But it's crazy. So that's
Yeah.
nerdy. Even though he loves sports, the part of the sports that he loves the most is the nerdy part. So
Yeah.
everything can be nerdy if you think about.
Yeah, nerdiness is a state of mind, not something you do. Embrace your interior nerd. Like, yeah.
When did you first notice you were a nerd? Just because you're using this word, okay, I'm gonna go on that.
Yeah.
When
sure.
did you first? Oh my God, I'm a nerd.
I was like 11, and I asked for my to my birthday present to be books. I was, geez, I'm a nerd.
Oh my. Okay, wait. I love reading too. You already know that.
Yeah.
We kind of some of the books we enjoy. They are the same books, same authors and etc. But I never did this.
Yeah.
I started doing this when I was adult. Like, oh my birthday, what am I gonna give myself? Maybe I can buy that book that was very expensive. So, okay, but when I was a teenager, no, I think the first book I read, the first big book I read, okay,
Yeah.
because those school books that we read in Brazil, like Machado de Assis, o Alienista, this kind of stuff, they don't count.
No.
But the first
Not
book,
at all.
yeah, first book I read was in 2003. 2002 or 2003 was The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
Jeez. Yeah.
First big
Start
book.
strong.
Yes, that's the reason why it's still my favorite book until today. But the thing is, it started big that time, and after that, okay, it became a passion. But still, I was 13, 14 years old. But I don't remember being 16 or 17 and asking for books as a birthday gift.
Yeah.
So, even though I love reading, love books, I'm not as nerdy as you are, probably.
Nah. Yeah, I actually asked a lot of years to my birthday presents. Not just my parents, my grandparents, my uncles. Like, yeah, give me books.
Oh my God. Okay, but just because we already got into this topic, which I love, let's start talking about books. Let me just shift my weight here in my chair. Okay. First book, let's go back in time. The first book you've ever read, if you remember, of course.
Yeah.
And when I say first book, I mean like this. Like The Lord of the Rings that I said it was very, was a standpoint in my life. Do you have one of those?
Yeah, I didn't start like in a huge book like you, in like Lord of the Rings. My first book, Lord of the Rings. No, I was 11 to 12 years old, I think. I can see the exactly date that I actually picked up that book because I was reading. I bought the first book from the Percy Jackson series.
Okay.
It's called the oh my god, the Lightning Thief. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought it in the date that the third book of the series released, like in the same day. So Google is saying that it's November 13th, 2012. Yeah.
2012. Okay.
So I was 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to go to a trip, a family trip. And I didn't have like a cell phone at the time. So I was like, well, what am I supposed to do in those 12 hours of driving that I'm, oh, I would just buy a book. So
yeah, that's great.
yeah, so I actually read the whole book in the 10 days that we were there. I came back, bought the second one, bought the third one, and then
you
just
got
spending
hooked.
money on books. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And okay, today after 12 years, reading books, and what kind of books you like? Because I assume you used to enjoy these fiction books.
Yeah.
And like yes. So what kind of books you like besides this one?
Yeah, I'm mostly a fantasy reader, so anything fantasy I'm reading. Like, so, especially fantasy like medieval fantasy. I really enjoy books like with swords, bows, fighters, paladins, like those kind of stuff. So, I think that the first big book in this kind of fantasy that I read was Eragon.
Oh, okay, of course.
Yeah, so I probably read the first book 20 or 25 times already.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
No.
Because I was young, so I didn't have the money to buy new books, so I just
Yes.
reread the books that I had.
Look, it doesn't stop, okay? I'm not young as you are, absolutely. But there's a point in the year that you have to make a choice. That's at least that's how it works for me. Some of my books I've read like 3 or 4 times. I don't think I have read a book more than 5, more than 4 maybe. Some of them I've read 2. Some of them I'm reading by the 3rd time right now. But that's pretty much it. Of course, it's too early in life. Maybe in 20 years I can say that, I read that book like 11 times. But it's still.
Yeah.
But some books, especially in Brazil, they are so expensive.
Yeah.
And for no reason. I don't understand. For example, I was going to buy the Obama book, just came out. Okay, the end of the year. It was almost 100 reais.
Yeah.
It's just too crazy. It makes no sense. Why? Like, why for Kindle? Why is it so expensive?
Yeah, that was the first the thing that I was going to talk about. I actually probably the most well spent money that I actually spent was buying a Kindle. Because I actually, if I'm not wrong, I already paid the price of the Kindle in discounts to buying books.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think I read like about 150 books in my Kindle by now. Different ones because I reread a lot of them. I'm actually a big fan of rereading books.
Yeah, it's funny, right? I think my first Kindle, I think Kindle was launched in 2012, the year you started reading. So I think my first Kindle was 2013. But for some reason, you stopped working in 2014.
Yeah.
Then I remember that I hated it because it actually changed my life. I was already a reader for almost 10 years when I bought it. And it changed my life because the amount of books you can read all the time and paying a better price for it. And when it stopped working, I spent I spent 8 years without one. Just having to buy physical books. And anyway, yeah. And then my wife got me for my birthday. So again, as I said, nerdy stuff.
It's a book
but
for a
still.
birthday. Yeah. Kinda.
Kinda, yeah. So okay, so Aragon, Percy Jackson. What else?
Yeah, I read The Hunger Games. I read Harry Potter, of
Of
course.
course. Look, I'm wearing
Tolkien.
a Hogwarts T-shirt right now.
Yeah. um, I read Lord of the Rings, of course. I actually, my girlfriend gave me like in my last birthday. She gave me the whole series of Harry Potter books in the special edition, the box. So
Nice, pretty nice.
I'm still not gonna read it because I don't want to ruin the pages.
Okay.
Just going to look at it and like, yeah, that's a nice collection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I only have one of the Harry Potter books, physical form, which is the fourth one, which is the next one, because I've just finished the third one because I'm reading again the series.
Oh yeah.
My third time. Yes, read when I was a teenager, and then read again like 10 years ago. And then I started last year reading again, very slowly. Like last year, I decided to read two of the books.
Yeah.
Because, and that's the next thing I want to talk to you about. And then, but the only physical one I have is the Goblet of Fire, of Fire, which is the fourth book, fourth part of the story. So you don't want to read. Yes, it's just. I think, to be honest, I think things started escalating in the third book, because that whole. I remember because I'm 32 years old, which means that I follow the movie's age. So, for example, when Harry Potter was 11, I was in the movies. I was 11.
Yeah.
So I remember going to the movies to watch every year the movies, and it was like I was watching myself there.
Yeah.
I was a teenager with them. So
that's a unique experience for sure.
Yeah, my generation got to experience that.
Yeah.
And, but the thing is, of course, the books are older than that. But I remember always reading the books after watching the movies. I don't complain. I don't actually like, and this is a very particular thing I have. I don't like to actually compare books to movies.
Yeah.
And when I say compare, I mean I think they all have valid stuff and they are unique forms of art.
Yeah.
So comparing books to, I always say this to people, it's weird, but comparing books to movies is like comparing motorcycles to cars. They're just not the same.
Or pizza and burger. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, no! But that burger is better than that pizza. Wait, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's not the same standard. Yes, absolutely. And so I remember following and always reading the books after. And the only thing that was different, probably different than you, comparing to you, is that I started reading in English already.
Yeah.
Because at the time, I was studying English. So every time I had an opportunity to buy a book that was in English, or to have someone, and one of my friends, his dad used to travel a lot to travel abroad. He used to travel a lot to Europe specifically. And then I started asking him to bring me books, not as a birthday gift, as you said before, but like then I remember giving him the money and saving the money for my allowance and giving him. So when the next time you go there and then you buy it for me. And so I think things started escalating in the third book with all the Dementors and the whole Azkaban thing. And I think I remember this feeling, that the first two books, I remember the first two books are very childish, and but now the third book is all okay. Now things are a little bit different.
Yeah,
and
I usually say that is the fourth book because, spoiler alert, Voldemort returns.
No,
So
spoiler, no, dude. It's not a spoiler. We're 2021. People who have never read or watched the movie, they're not going to. I'm sorry.
No, these books have they are like what, 20, 25 years old now. So
Yeah, yes, probably that. I think the first book is from 1991.
Yeah,
So
because
it's
the
first
first
book.
movie is 2002 or 3, right?
2001, I think.
One?
I think
Yeah.
2001. Yes.
Yeah, so the movies have 20 years.
Yeah, see, it's just crazy.
No, but that's what is like great about literature, because literature. I can't say that word for my life.
You
To save
did
my life.
just great, dude.
Yeah.
Literature. Yeah.
But because it never actually gets old, it just gets has different meaning for each generation. So like
exactly.
Lord of the Rings it's been out for like, I don't know, 60 years now. And
I think no, dude. I think it's been. I think the Lord of the Rings is from the 20s or the 30s.
So
Let me just
100
check
years.
that. Yes. Let me just maybe I'm just going crazy, but yeah, keep talking. I'm good.
Yeah. So, and if you give that book to a child now, or actually not a child, but yeah, a teenager now, they're still going to enjoy it because it's a great reading. Like, the story is good, the characters are good. So
I'm sorry, this interrupted, but yes, it's from the 50s.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so 70 years now. Yeah. So like, which other thing in history has 70 years and
Oh.
people still enjoy the same? Like, no.
No. Yeah. And in this
Music,
fun,
maybe.
it's a funny thing. Yeah, it's a funny thing when we talk about books. For some reason, I don't know if it's our country. I don't know if it's because our generation and the generation before us, they already had TV and this kind of stuff. But I think for some reason, and I remember this growing up, people relate reading books to nerds or
Yeah.
relate reading books to people who want to be smart or this kind of stuff, when it's actually supposed to be, in the way I see, supposed to be an entertainment source.
Yeah.
Not just, you don't read books just because you want to learn a new subject. I read books because I want to be entertained.
Yeah.
And I think that people don't read enough or don't read as much as they should today because they don't think they can be entertained while reading books. The only thing that the form of entertainment is watching sport or playing a sport or watching TV, watching a movie. And it's kind of weird because, as you said, books have been out for so many years.
Yeah.
And people use to educate themselves. People use them to learn a new subject and to be entertained. And why should that change just because we have TV and we can go to the movies today? It makes no sense.
Yeah. I actually believe that reading it's as good as an entertainment, like as watching a movie, but the reward to get entertained, it's not as fast. So people tend to like get away from it. Like, yeah, I can have the same satisfaction in 2 hours instead of 2 weeks reading the book. But you lose a lot of details, the things that actually make reading what it is. Like this amazing story that is so much more complex than a movie. But yeah,
and it's funny because people actually appreciate, directors, movie directors who spend like years, directing a movie and deciding how they're gonna do stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have authors that spend sometimes a lifetime producing and writing a book.
Yeah.
And for example, a guy that we both like, which is George R.R. Martin.
Yeah.
From the Game of Thrones. What do you have to say about him? And
Yeah.
about all this delay.
All I have to say is, please finish this book.
Yeah.
I'm so anxious to know what's gonna happen. The season finale for the series was so bad. I'm missing good
Yes.
Game of Thrones stories.
Yes.
So
But look, I don't know if you share from the same opinion. I think that because I know today it was on purpose that they decided to make it different. But it's very difficult to find someone who watched the series and read the books. So now that I have the opportunity, I'm going to talk to you about.
sure.
For me, season 4 was the season who things changed.
Really?
Because I think until season 3, it was pretty much the same.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that because like the last episode of the season 1 already got me hooked because of the death of Edward Stark.
Yeah, Ned Stark.
Ned Stark, yeah. So I was like, yeah, that's not a regular series. The main characters died brutally. Like, because yes, there is no explanation, no reason, just died. So I think that made the series different enough for me to actually wanted to watch it, the rest of it. But I think that season 3 is actually where was the turning point for me because season 3 was the Red Wedding, right?
Yeah. Oh yes, I love that episode.
Yeah. So there was a huge commotion in the internet, in Twitter, people recording people that read the books, recording their friends watching the scene. So yeah, I think that was the turning point for Game of Thrones. Like, yeah, this series is completely different because people actually die. So yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, in the comparison with the book, I mean, I think that when I said that, and I repeat, season 1 to 3, 1 through 3, they were very similar. I don't want to say the same, but they were very. But in season 4, the stories just split. So for people who read the books and who were watching now the series, it became different. You know, they were going together side by side, then they start splitting. You know, separate ways.
Yeah.
I think that point was season 4.
Yeah, no.
I agree with that.
Yeah. For sure.
I kind of see why they did it. And now, to be very honest, I'm kind of happy that the ending of the TV series wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Because now
I get a reason to read the last book.
And more than this, I don't think, even if he tries to make a terrible ending, he's not going to do worse than the people who produce the series. It's not possible. Not possible.
Yeah. I'm going right, like I was not that disappointed in the end of the series because I'm a Lost fan, so I was ready for the for the impact of the bad ending. So
okay, but can I be honest? My disappointment wasn't with the story per se. My disappointment was with the way things. They just escalated too quickly because when you follow a TV series for years and then all of a sudden in 2 episodes everything ends, what's going on? It makes no sense.
It was the nice queen and then went crazy in 2 episodes.
That's too much. I think it's too. It's just such a short time to go crazy in a TV series. 2 episodes is not that much. No. So maybe she should start going crazy season 5, maybe season 6. Then
she did crazy stuff. Like she did crazy, hanged a lot of guys. She killed people that made contract, but she was killing the bad guys. Like the bad guys.
When she killed that, oh my God, I forgot his name.
There are so many names in Game of Thrones, dude.
Yes, it's difficult, right? And I'm reading Game of Thrones. I started Game of Thrones now, okay? I started book 1 last week.
Right. I read Game of Thrones twice now, so...
Yeah, it's my second time. Yeah. But I started a book because I have the physical books. So I restart when I'm turning like this because I'm actually looking at the books.
I was looking through my Harry Potter box too.
But the thing is that there's so many names to remember. That guy in the TV series was a bald guy. He had lots of spies. Lord Varys, thank you. Yeah. That's it. And when she killed him, that's kind of unexpected, but okay.
Yeah. Okay. But she didn't actually deserved.
No, that was too much. that was in sometimes we can agree that was too much. Okay, but then the story is completely changed, and I believe in the end of the story, now the 2 books, because you realize there's gonna be 2 books, right?
Yeah.
And
I know.
I think he's writing them together, you know.
And I hope so because
Yeah.
The first time that he actually said no, the book's almost ready was 2010. So it's been 10 years.
Yeah. 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 His process. The problem is that his process. He writes and then he dislikes what he wrote, and then he, instead of
Yeah.
making it better, he decides to delete and do it over. So it takes more time. And let's be honest, why would he be in a rush? Like,
Yeah, like it's not like he doesn't have any money anymore. Like he's
yeah,
still living his good
just
life and
yeah,
writing when he wants.
live there in Santa Fe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we already talked about him. Let's talk about J.K. Rowling.
Sure.
What do you like about the Harry Potter stories?
Yeah, actually, talking about J.K. Rowling now, it's like not the best. You know,
Why?
there was a lot of she was canceled like
Really?
really hard in like last year.
I have no idea.
Yeah, she made a lot of comments in Twitter being transphobic and homophobic.
Oh,
and,
okay,
yeah.
I've heard about this. Yes.
Yeah, so there was a huge scandal about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still enjoy the books, not as much the author now.
Mhm.
I have some problems with some ideas that she likes to defend. And to be honest, if you actually remember the books, some things are really stereotypical. Like the guys in Gringotts Banks are like stereotypical representations of Jews, and like that's
Okay.
really,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, I remember this kind of stuff. But look,
But it's a
I
fantasy
don't.
book, like for
Yes,
kids.
and that's not all bad, because the problem with stereotypes nowadays is that we wanna run away from them, but they are
Yeah.
still there.
Yeah.
Look,
Like,
the beginning of
I'm a nerd.
conversation. Yes, and
I
this
start
is
this
talking about-
conversation like,
yes.
yeah, I'm
So you're
the
gonna,
stereotypical nerd.
if you're going to, if you're writing a book, or if you're writing a movie whatsoever,
Yeah.
so you're describing a nerd. Okay, what? He's 6'3", very strong guy, hits the gym every day, and has the hottest girlfriend. And no, you start by saying that he reads a lot of books and he likes comic books and he
Yeah.
likes video. Yeah, at least you start. If he looks like that, that's okay. But it's still the stereotype of a nerd that you gotta be portrayed. Yes,
There is a reason why it is a stereotype. I mean,
exactly.
like most nerds actually enjoy comic books, reading, studying. So it's not like that is completely out of mind. Like, oh my God, how could she do that? No, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not the best look when you
Yes,
read
I
back.
understand.
Yeah,
But I think that I was doing a very recent research. The Harry Potter series is the fourth. I think today is the fourth most read series book in history.
yeah,
Okay, you have the Bible and the Quran, because they are religious books.
yeah. So
Then we
people
have
actually
Don
read and reread
Quixote.
that all the time.
Yeah, Don Quixote, and of course the Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
which is almost like tied with Harry Potter. So
Yeah.
she actually created something that it's this story. I know was made for kids, and when kids get hooked into something,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to to let
if-
go.
Actually, if you actually think about this book series as a tool to make kids get into reading, like yeah,
It's amazing. It's
it
perfect.
made great things to
Mhm.
the world, to the society, like get
Yeah.
people to read, to enjoy reading.
Exactly. Because, look, for example, the Game of Thrones is it's too heavy. I think that's the word I want. It's too much for kids.
No, for
I
sure.
don't- I think it's even too much for teenagers. I don't think most teenagers have the correct mind to read a book like that.
Yeah.
So I think you need some level of
Some light
maturity.
stories. Yeah.
Yes. No, I mean, you need a level of maturity to start reading Game of Thrones, because it's just
Yeah.
too much.
Mhm.
But the Harry Potter now is very
It's a
easily
kid's
portrayed
book.
as a kid's book. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Game of Thrones is not a kid's book.
No,
it's a fantasy
absolutely
book,
not.
but not a kid's book.
Not
Yeah.
a kid's book.
So yeah, actually, I started reading Game of Thrones when I was 14, the first
Hmm.
book, and when I got to the middle of the book, my dad was reading with me the same book at the same time, and he said, "Okay, so you're going to finish the first book because you already started. Okay, but you're not going to read the second book until you're like 16, so you can understand the things in here are
And he
in
was
the
right.
books. Yeah,
And he
for
was
sure.
right.
No, without a doubt. Like, yeah,
And I think the second book is even worse than the
for
first
sure.
one.
Yeah, it
And
gets
yes,
worse.
Clash of Kings is yes. Clash of
Yeah,
Kings is
the third
it's
book.
just
If you just take the book and like hold it, you start dripping blood. For sure.
yeah.
Like,
The third one is Feast for Crows.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
the Red Wedding book,
Oh
the
yes,
Lady Stoneheart book.
Lady Stoneheart. Yes. Oh my goodness. See, but
Yeah.
it's a very nice and tremendous story, right?
Yeah, like it's so well written. Like,
Yes. And what about my favorite? I have to talk about him, Tolkien.
yeah,
You've read the Lord of the Rings series, right? Fellowship of the Ring, Two
yeah.
Towers,
And I
and Return of the
just
King.
bought the unfinished stories,
Unfinished Tales.
unfinished tales.
Oh my
Sorry.
god!
Yeah,
I have
just
two.
bought it.
There are two books I haven't read for him. From him, Silmarillion
Yeah,
and The Children of Hurin,
I haven't read those too. So
because I'm having problems finding them in English because I read them all in English, so reading in Portuguese would just feel weird. Because
Yeah,
when you're
yeah.
reading a different language, just looks like you're not reading the same story. Because the names sometimes they change.
yeah,
Like in the movies, like just a parenthesis again talking about Harry Potter when they changed his dad's name from James Potter
James.
in English to Tiago.
yeah,
Potter. No, that was just too much.
yeah.
Tiago Potter.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so I prefer not to. I prefer not to do this kind of stuff of change. It's, except if I started reading in Portuguese, then that's okay. But and what do you think? What do you think about him?
Yeah, actually, I think Tolkien was so out of the curve in his time. Like, because like there's been 70 years that he wrote the book, and there are people doing full graduations about his work, like learning to speak the language that he invented. And I actually read a book like 1 or 2 years ago. I think it was 2019. I read his biography about him, and that he actually was like thrilled to do new languages. Like that was what the Middle Earth was just a place for him to have people speaking his languages. So it's so rich in details and in a backstory that you have to spend your whole life reading and rereading to actually understand what he meant. And what makes me like completely what completely blows my mind about Tolkien is the world that he wrote is as complex as the world that we live. So
Yes, that's just crazy. That's just crazy. Exactly what I think. He created a universe, let's call it this. He
yeah,
created a universe that is just so complex and full of details. That is, it's not a parallel to the real world.
yeah,
It's just
yeah,
another one,
yeah.
and that's just amazing.
Yeah, and when you read the books, like you realize that he's not going to explain the world to you. So he just so this guy was amazing. Like yeah, he's not going to say to you who this
Why?
guy was. Like yeah, he was amazing. Like believe me, there is a
Accept it.
backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually had a conversation with a friend, and he read all the books, Children of Hurin and Silmarillion. And I don't know if you read those books, but he said that in those books he kind of explains a little bit of more, gives us more details about why things are the way they are,
Yeah.
but not that much. He goes deep, but deep enough so you feel satisfied, but not deep enough that you know everything.
Yeah.
You know the thing.
Because
Yes.
you're not going to know everything about our world. So he made a book that you're not going to know everything about his world because it's a complex world. You're not going to know about it.
And that's just amazing.
Yeah, it's
That is just
unbelievable.
amazing.
Like, yeah, it's a story. I think I need to reread because I dropped out the first book, the first Lord of the Rings books like twice
Fellowship of the
before I
Ring.
actually
Why?
read it. Because Bilbo's birthday was so annoying to read. Like, man.
But it goes so fast, dude.
No, it doesn't. Like, it really doesn't. It's like 30 or 40 pages of birthday.
Yes.
I can't.
Yeah.
Like, I was in the middle of the birthday and I'm like, no, I think I'm going to read
But you know why,
something
right?
else.
It's because of The Hobbit. People were already familiar with Bilbo. So don't imagine us now. Imagine people there in the 50s to 1954 when the Fellowship of the Ring was launched. Imagine people who read The Hobbit.
Yeah.
They miss Bilbo.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
Was
so
a
you have
friend
to think like this. Yeah, so you actually wanna. Okay, it's his birthday. Yes.
Yeah.
His 118th birthday, right?
Yeah.
So we have to so actually miss Bilbo. So let him talk about Bilbo. Yeah. I don't know. I for me, I don't know if you recall this, but the second book, The Two Towers, was the longest one for me. I just remember having a lot of wait for things to happen. Mm-hmm. And then it goes in another character. And then you should develop the story and stuff. So, and nothing actually happened. I was feeling that nothing was happening.
Yeah.
Even though I already knew there was a third book and I was going to get through the end, but it took me a while. This the Two Towers.
Yeah, I had a different experience because I read it took me like 2 months to read the first book because I already stopped at the birthday party. Then when I have to pick up again, I didn't remember anything, so I have to reread it. And yeah, but when I read, it took me the same time to read the first book that it took me to read the second and third book. Like, so I just binge reading the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, right?
Yeah. And I do have a question about reading. How is after you read? Do you remember things you read? You just remember the story? You remember lines of the books?
Yeah.
How is that?
I actually have a good memory to books, stories, but as I was talking to you, I actually enjoy rereading books. So I usually reread most of the books that I actually enjoy. I read it at least once. So I it's not fair to remember because I actually read twice or 3 times or so, or maybe 20 times, like Aragon. So.
Okay,
Yeah.
why that book specifically 20 times, 25 times?
I don't actually know because now that I'm older, I try to read it and it's not that great of a book.
I don't remember. I haven't read them all, just read the first one. But there are 4. 5, 7, 4.
It's 4.
They're all different dragons, right?
Yeah, in the book cover, yeah.
Very good. No, but in the story, no?
No.
See, I thought that in different books you're gonna cover different dragons.
The whole series is about Aragon and Saphira, like the whole series.
Even that, what's the name? Helsinger.
Helsinger is the second book, then Brisinger, and then Inheritance. Yeah.
I thought they were all dragons. Oh my god.
No, Helsinger is a place. It's a mountain, if I'm not mistaken. Brisinger is fire in the elf language from the books, and Inheritance is Inheritance. Yeah, it's in English. It's the only title in actually English.
Okay, see, but it's just because a friend of mine, Rafa, he loves this book series, and I remember because these are the only books that stay in his shelf like forever. He's read maybe 100 times like you, but the only books that stay there always were these ones. His favorite story. Oh my goodness. Okay, but now I have to ask you one thing a little bit deeper about reading. How is your reading process, if you have one? For you to understand my question, let me give an example. I said in the second episode of this podcast, I create a list of books that I want to read. For example, in the December, beginning of January, I decided all the books I want to read for 2021.
Yeah.
I have a goal, but then I leave space. For example, Arthur recommended me a book. Say, oh my God, Silas, I have to read this book. Okay, then I go there and add to my list. And I separate into categories because it's easier for me. Do you do the same or just start reading, then when you see you just read a bunch of books?
Yeah, I'm always looking for new fantasy books and medieval fantasy books because usually people like, oh, have you read this? Yeah, I have. Oh, and this one? Yeah, I have. So I'm trying to find new books in the same category, like medieval fantasy. But I have since 2014. I told myself that I was going to read at least 20 good books in a year, every year, and I actually managed to do that.
Great.
Since then, yeah. There were years that like in the November, December, I read like 5 books so I could get the goal, and there were years that I read like 40 books. So it depends.
See, I got to, my goal is always 50. I went for 41 in 2017. But normally I stay in the 30s. That's it. I got to 39 last year. Last year I thought, you know what? With the pandemic, I'm gonna do it. But the pandemic did something very weird. I noticed that I read less when I had time. I don't know why. It's weird. I was at home. And for some reason, I was reading less. Which, when I said reading less, I was taking longer to read a book that I knew wasn't supposed to take that long. You know,
Yeah.
when you take 10 days to read a book that is supposed to take you 3 days. It's very weird because some books are big, okay, and you expect them to be big, and okay, it's gonna take me 2 weeks to read this.
Yeah.
But then some books are just too small, and you think, no, I'm gonna read this. I'm start on Friday, on Monday, I'm done. But then no, then it's next Friday and you're almost done. Oh my God, happened a lot. So you have this process, and you have the fantasy books that you are looking for new stories to read. Great. I'm sorry.
No, and I usually now the last maybe 4 years I got a thing to listen to music as I'm reading, like instrumental music, because 4 years ago I started playing tabletop RPG. And we use music as a background music.
Okay.
And it's like epic music. So battle music, calm music,
you feel like
travel
you're
music.
inside of the story.
Yeah, so I put them on my headphones and I listen to the music. Oh no, they're going to start a war here. So I changed the playlist to the combat playlist, and yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, but now I have a question, because I thought fantasy books, they were like your favorite category, but I didn't know that you only read those kind of books.
No, I read other books. Like there was a phase in 2016 that I only read psychology, economic, sociology, biographies. Like yeah, but the reading that I enjoy, that I actually like to do, like no, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to sit and read this book. It's fantasy books, like for sure.
I noticed that for me, if I don't separate them into categories, I do the same. I read fantasy books a lot. So I put them in I have 4 categories: fun, life, which is like productivity books and etc. Soul, which is books from church and from pastors and etc. And then school, for the university, are things that are going to help me in my university life. Because if I don't, I only read fantasy books.
Yeah.
You know, I have to separate. That's the reason why last year I only read 2 of the Harry Potter series, because there were only space for the 2 of them. This year I made it different. This year I put the entire Game of Thrones series plus the rest of Harry Potter series. Yeah. So I have only 2 series of books, but it's gonna take me the entire year to read them because they're very big. Yeah. But I still have the other, the life, and the soul, and the school books, because otherwise I do like you did. I stay a long time reading one style or one category, and in my opportunity, in my experience, it doesn't help me.
Yeah, probably in the first 4 years that I became active reader, like for actually like reading, I read only fantasy books. But then I read the Narnia from C.S. Lewis, and I said, okay, this guy, I like the way he writes. So I look into other books of him, and I read the, I don't know the name of the book in English. Cartas de Diabo ao Seu Aprendiz.
Okay.
That's the name of the book.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know which book is this.
Yeah, but it's a great book. It's a devil talking to someone on Earth that is explaining him how things should have been done to convince people to like. It's a great story. And then I read all other C.S. Lewis books like the Four Loves, um, the I don't know the names in in English. I'm so sorry.
Can I give you a very unpopular opinion? I don't
Yeah.
like too much C.S. Lewis.
Serious?
Yeah, I don't know why. To be honest, I think I know why, but I'm just too lazy to go back and do it differently. And let me explain. There are the physical books, which people start with those. The physical books, they have the margin and the size of the books and the weight and everything. There are books, physical books, that I hate the edition because for some reason the letters are spaced in a way that is difficult for me to read, or it's too small or too big and they don't have a place to hold, whatever it is. And the first book, I don't remember I started but never finished, was a C.S. Lewis book. I think my mom has this book. And I started, and I hated so much these details, these stupid details, I know. But I hated so much that I think I related the hating those details to the reading. So I never finished, never got it. And every time I see C.S. Lewis, even Chronicles of Narnia, I haven't read. And that's
it's a good
it.
series, man. Like, actually pretty good. But
maybe next year.
But I understand because I do have some like 2 or 3 books in my closet here that I bought a second version because I couldn't read the first version because of those details.
Yeah.
So,
and people who don't read it a lot, they don't understand this. Yeah. But it bothers.
I actually have a lot of pet peeves in my books, like a lot of them.
For example?
I don't like to read when you open the book like all the way up because it wrinkles the bridge of the book.
Middle, yes.
Yeah.
I don't do it either.
Yeah. I actually wash my hands before reading and dry them because if I sweat on the pages, they got wrinkles in exactly in the place where I rest my thumb. So, yeah, I actually have a lot of pet peeves.
Very good.
Jesus Christ.
Was that lightning?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I do. I know I have someday I wish to write a book, okay? About productivity, about studying. I don't know, in the future. It's a life project, okay? And I'm going to show you. Wait. This book is called Onward from Howard Schultz. Howard Schultz is the founder of Starbucks.
Yeah.
Then I first got this book. It's a biography book and it tells the story of Starbucks and how it started. But for me, it is not good. It's simply perfect. The size of the book, the size of the letters, the space to hold the fingers. It's perfect because it doesn't stay on the way.
Yeah.
So it's, oh my God,
I hate to have to move my thumb to read the lines.
Sometimes you're so perfect that position and you have to change.
Then you have to find those places where the lines they break the lines. So
yes.
Or dialogue pages where you can put your thumb. There's nothing written. Like
Pet peeves of people who like to read books. That's kind of weird, but
Yeah.
it's a topic. It's one thing that it's a real thing, dude. Yeah, it's a
And
real
for people
thing.
that actually don't read, they're going to listen to this and like, "Dude, they're so
You guys are
they're
crazy."
such douchebags. Like seriously. But
And
yeah.
it's not right.
No,
It's
he
just
actually
because-
bothers.
Yeah, and everybody look, but now just to take it deeper, everybody's like this. Everyone gets bothered by something that other people think. Oh my God, really? Did that bother
Yeah.
you? Like, are you crazy? Why are you so, you know? But it's normal in life. People are different, and
Yeah.
people don't like 100% of the stuff.
Yeah.
So
Actually, to me, when people actually have pet peeves like that, it means that they actually enjoy so much what they're doing that small things that ruin the experience like actually bothers them.
yeah,
So
yes.
yeah,
And no, I do enjoy productivity stuff a lot. I don't know why. I was talking to my wife one of these days, and I have no idea why I enjoy productivity. And I just think when you find new ways of doing stuff more productively, I mean, studying, working, and using your time, I just think it's great. It's one thing that we can all improve. But you don't read these kind of books.
yeah. I read some of them, but they're not actually my style of reading because I usually read as an entertainment. Like when I read books for learning new things, usually are dentistry books or
Okay.
yeah. So so yeah, I don't actually read a lot of books. I read some of them. There are some books that I actually enjoy. I read Scrum. It's a book about productivity that I actually
Yeah.
enjoyed reading. But yeah, they're not really my style.
And now just because it's this thing about reading dentistry books, how oh my God, this lighting was crazy. How is that for you today? Because reading books when you are 16 and you're in school and doing nothing else but studying is very different than reading books when you have CrossFit and you have a girlfriend and you have volunteer work at church and you have to work and etc. and have to study for university. How do you manage? How do you have like, for example, I read every morning, I read every night. When do you normally read?
Yeah, usually I read in the weekends. I actually use as my rest day is to read, to enjoy the because I actually have a beautiful garden with a bedok. A bedok? Yeah, that's how you call it, right?
Paddock, yeah.
Yeah. That I spend like 3-4 hours every weekend reading, just enjoying the wind and the yeah. It's my rest time. Like those fantasy books, right? But reading for studying, then I just do it because I know it's important for what I will have to do now on. So they have different reasons behind it and different reasons why I do it. So for me, reading is just as relaxing as just listening to music or watching a movie. So for me, it's not heavy to separate sometimes my weeks to just read. Just
And I would like to ask you for two suggestions. One is a suggestion for people who read. For me, imagine you're talking just to me. Okay, nobody else is listening to this. Give me a book to read. What would you suggest? What would you suggest
yeah, probably
for this year?
the last book that I read that I was like really excited and I was so hooked in the story that I like got lost in time and just read was the name of the wind by Patrick Rothfuss. It's an amazing book, so well written. Like the only problem with this book is because it's another unfinished series, so it's supposed to be three books
Okay.
and only have 2 books. But the writing is so good, so good. Everything was well thought out to write the story. So it's a great experience to read.
Can you say the name again?
The name of the wind
The name of the wind.
by
Very
Patrick
good.
Rothfuss. Yeah.
Very nice. Very
And it's a
nice.
fantasy book, so yeah.
Of course it is.
Yeah, if you want like more like uh, books that are not so fantasy, like more in the our times and our cities, people, places that you actually get to know sometime maybe.
Hmm.
Uh, Probably Dan Brown's Inferno
Uh,
was so good, so good.
yes. Yes, it's a great book. I think it's my favorite of them all.
Yeah,
Them all. I'm sorry. I haven't read the other one, the digital. I don't remember the name.
Digital Impact. Yeah,
Digital. I haven't read this one.
yeah. I read all of them, and yeah, it's the best one.
Yeah, Inferno is the best
Yeah,
one. Oh,
yeah,
great.
it is the best
Yeah, but
one.
it's a great book. Great book. Very nice. Okay, but Arthur, now one more thing. A suggestion for people who are listening to us. People who maybe are not readers. Maybe they don't enjoy. They would like to start reading more, or maybe just like to start reading and finish a book for at least once in life. Do you have a suggestion for them?
Yeah. Geez. Yeah, I probably suggest to find something that actually you enjoy reading. Like for me, those are fantasy books. Maybe for you, is sci-fi books or um, heavy, uh, dense books that you have to actually think about, and philosophy books and those. If you find something that you actually enjoy learning about or you enjoy spend your time reading, um, it's not going to be something. Oh my god, I have to read. No, it's oh my god, I get to read. So I was talking that to my brother. My brother does not like to read at all, and one day I said, "Okay, guy, you actually love like working with animals, especially horses. So why don't you read a good book that talks about horses?" So I found him the War Horse. You have the movie about it too, and he
Oh
actually
yes.
read the whole book and enjoyed it. So
Really, that's great.
yeah, so I think you have to find a book series or a book that gets you hooked, because
Hmm.
after that you get to, okay, I like this, so I will probably enjoy books like this, and then there is a whole universe of books. Actually, there is some websites like Scoob or Goodreads that you put the name of the book that you like, and he gives you like a huge list of books that are similar.
Really, I had no
Yeah,
idea. What's the name again?
you have Scoob, S, it's books but inverted,
Oh,
and
okay. Great.
yeah, and you have
Scoops.
Goodreads.
Good reads. Very
Yeah,
nice. Very nice. Interesting thing. See, you have tools. If you want to do something, there are always places you can go and do those things and create those habits. I'm about to buy, because it's in my list for March. I'm going to buy a book about habits. It's called Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits from James Clear is the most recent great book about habits as I'm learning, because that movie, the book, The Power of Habit, by Charles Duhigg. It's a great book. Read like twice, but years ago, changed my life in terms of this thing that I do of the list and stuff. But this by James Clear, Atomic Habits, it's on my list for 2021, especially on my list for now March. And it's my suggestion for you. I know you didn't ask for one,
no, but
but
I'm always open to
no,
suggestions.
dude, I think because
I
it
have
talks a
so
lot
much
about
time.
this, about creating habits, and what strategies people can use if they want to have a habit, or if they want to drop another one. And I know because I watched an interview with him, and he was saying that sometimes people want to change a habit, but they end up exchanging a habit, a bad one for a not so bad one. For example, if I go to the gym the entire week, I will eat pizza on Friday if I go 5 days. Okay, but then they go to the gym every week, and then they start eating pizza, but they cannot stop having pizza. So it actually became another bad habit.
Yeah,
I know pizza is the best thing in the world,
yeah,
but it's still to have every weekend. It's not the best thing. So this kind of stuff. So I'm very interested about. So that's my suggestion for you. And but that's it. I really appreciate that. It's Scoops and what's the other one? I forgot the name.
Goodreads.
Goodreads. Very nice. Arthur, I really enjoyed our conversation, man. It was very nice talking to you. We have so many
My
other
pleasure,
things
man.
to talk about. So many other things to talk about. We're gonna have another episode together. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Be-
I'm
yeah,
always down
because
to
you're so
record.
talkative, like me. And as I messaged you this week saying, talkative people are the perfect people for a podcast,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And, because if we're not talkative, it's just a monologue. So
Yeah,
that's
and
not good.
It's so easy to spend like 4 or 5 hours talking about books and actually
Yeah.
things that you like with people that like the same thing. So
Yeah.
those are podcasts are usually that. Yeah.
One of the things I'm kind of interested also, and it's making not book reviews per se, like not telling the story of the book, but giving a little reviews of the books and covering up a little bit of the stories, etc. And we can do this together.
Yeah, for sure,
You can
man.
start covering up books we have already read. Me 2-3 times, you 20, 25. Yeah, but no, seriously, because it's another interesting thing, and it's gonna be great, dude.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Just hit me up. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Arthur, thank you so much for being part of this podcast, man, and I hope you have a great week. And I also hope that you who are there listening to us at home, at your car, at work, wherever you are, you also have a great week. It was very nice being with you for this episode. Okay, so see you on the next one.